We are right in the middle of a massive AI revolution, one that promises to make all of us faster, smarter, and way more productive. But as companies are rushing to get these powerful tools, a strange paradox is starting to pop up. So today we're going to dig into the hidden trade-offs between speed, quality, and creativity in this brand new age of AI.
And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi future we're talking about. The CEO of GitHub, the biggest code repository on the planet, is predicting that AI assistants are going to be writing 80% of all new code, and soon. This isn't just a forecast, you guys. It's a huge paradigm shift, and it's happening right now.
Need proof that the shift is already here? Just look at this number, -78%. That represents the one-year drop in questions on Stack Overflow, which for years has been the absolute go-to for developers. In just 12 months, traffic just plummeted, almost 80%. So why? Well, it's because developers are now getting their answers directly from AI, right inside their coding environment. The game has already changed.
Okay, so let's start with why everyone is so incredibly excited. The promise of AI in our professional lives is, let's be honest, undeniable. Especially when you talk about sheer speed and the ability to scale up work like we've never seen before. I mean, the numbers are just staggering. According to GitHub's own data, their AI assistant, Copilot, is already generating almost half of all new code on the platform. Think about that. For developers, that translates into a speed boost of up to 55%. That's a massive leap in efficiency that's pretty much impossible for any business to just ignore.
But, and you knew there was a but coming. Here's where the story takes a sharp turn. That incredible speed, it comes with a hidden cost, a paradox that's really only now starting to show up in the data.
So picture this. A team adopts a new AI coding tool, and the initial results are just euphoric. Right away, there's this huge, immediate surge in the amount of work getting done. Code is flying out the door faster than ever. But this is just the first chapter of the story.
A recent study of an AI tool called Cursor actually put a number on this initial explosion. In the very first month, just the first month, projects saw a 3 to 5 times increase in the number of lines of code being added. An incredible, almost unbelievable spike in pure output.
And this brings us to the million-dollar question. That initial velocity, it feels like a superpower, right? But what does the data show after that honeymoon period is over? What happens in month 3 or, month 6? Well, that same study found this speed boost leads to a self-reinforcing cycle of doom, basically. The initial velocity gain increases something called technical debt. You can think of that as the hidden cost of choosing an easy, fast solution now instead of the better, harder solution. And this new debt, it creates drag. It slows down all future development. So that initial gain isn't just temporary. It actually creates the very conditions for its own decline.
Now, this slowdown isn't just about messy code. It's rooted in something way deeper. When we rely on AI to solve our problems, we're not just outsourcing the work, we're outsourcing the creative process itself. And that, it turns out, has a pretty surprising impact on innovation.
A study from the Wharton School looked at how AI affects brainstorming, and the results were frankly shocking. In the human-only group, every single idea they came up with was unique. But in the group that got help from ChatGPT, only 6% of the ideas were unique. The AI was great at polishing ideas, but it was terrible at coming up with different ones in the first place.
So what happens is when teams lean on AI for new ideas, they just end up producing a ton of overlapping, similar concepts. They all start to converge on the same solutions, often using the exact same language. You're basically creating a creative echo chamber, and you're sacrificing the diversity of thought that leads to real, actual breakthroughs. As Professor Christian Terwish, one of the study's authors, put it, relying on AI as your only creative partner is a dead end. Sure, you get a short-term boost in the quality of an idea, but you completely sacrifice the novelty and originality you need for long-term innovation.
Okay, so we've got a drag on long-term speed, and we've got a big hit to creativity. And these two issues are actually deeply connected. When an AI lacks creative diversity, it just defaults to the most common, easy-to-do patterns. And this leads to the biggest risk of all, which a recent report from Ox Security perfectly captures with this powerful metaphor. They call it the army of juniors effect. Think of your AI coding tool as an army of incredibly fast, talented, but really naive junior developers. They can write code that works at an unbelievable pace, but they totally lack the experience, the architectural judgment, and the security awareness of a senior professional. They get the job done, but often in the most short-sighted way possible.
This leads to what engineers call anti-patterns.
You can think of them as common solutions that seem smart at first, but are ultimately just bad for you. For instance, AI will replicate the same bug over and over again. It won't stop to refactor or improve the code that's already there. It'll even write fake tests that look good on paper, but don't actually check if anything works. This is exactly how that technical debt we talked about just spirals out of control.
And here is maybe the most mind-bending finding of all. A study took perfectly secure code, no issues, and simply asked an AI to improve it a few times. The result? After just 5 rounds of these so-called improvements, the code had a nearly 38% increase in critical security vulnerabilities. Asking the AI to make things better actually made them significantly worse.
Researchers actually have a name for this. They call it feedback loop security degradation. Every single time you ask an AI to refine or change code, you're not just getting an improvement. You are rolling the dice on introducing new, subtle flaws. Without a human expert checking every single step, the process of fixing can actually become a process of breaking.
Okay, so this all sounds pretty grim, I know. But the point isn't to just abandon AI. The point is to get smart about how we use it. And that requires a whole new strategic framework for leaders and for every single professional using these tools.
The fundamental shift is this. The role of your most experienced people is changing. They're moving from being the primary doers, the ones writing all the code or the first draft, to being directors, architects, and auditors of the work that AI generates. So how do organizations adapt? Well, first, traditional code review. You have to abandon it as your main security checkpoint. It just can't keep up with the volume. Second, your human experts need to shift into roles of oversight, focusing on the big picture, architecture, and security. And third, your security tools have to be AI native, built to operate at the exact same insane speed as the AI creating the code. This leads to a brand new partnership model. Let the AI handle the grunt work, the implementation, the rapid prototyping, writing those first drafts. The critical human roles then become architecture, critical judgment, security oversight, and that final all-important approval. It's not about replacement, it's about elevation.
And that brings us to the final question, one for you and for your organization. In this huge rush for speed, are you creating short-term features or are you building long-term liabilities? Harnessing AI wisely really means answering that question with intention.